California, California. You know, that song California Love by Dre, it starts out, California knows how to party. Well, they should change those words to California knows how to be fucking stupid. So let's take a trip to SoCal. Let's go to the furthest part of SoCal you can go to before hitting Mexico. San Diego. San Diego Unified School District, the second largest school district in California, so it's got to be one of the biggest in the country. California has more than 40 million people in it, and there's over 100,000 kids in the San Diego Unified School District. So why are we talking about these dummies? Well, they are fraught with racism because they are forcing teachers. Their union, the teachers' union, is forcing them to take white privilege training. Man, stop with this shit. So these teachers have to take white privilege training. Well, what in the fuck is that? Well, it's where they tell you that if you are white. Now, I read a couple articles. None of them said that they're just making white teachers take this. It said teachers. So you're going to have a bunch of teachers in there who aren't white, who therefore would not benefit from training that tells them that they're misusing their white privilege because don't you have to be white to get white privilege? Ugh. That was a tongue twister of ignorance. Which one is it? Because if you're just telling white teachers they have to sit through this training, well, isn't that racism? But the superintendent is saying that they're doing this to combat racism. But you're a school district, so shouldn't you be combating stupidity? Shouldn't you be combating that instead of some phantom called racism that somehow you're going to destroy by having a class where you tell white teachers that they're racist and you start out by saying we are on indigenous people's ground, we're on stolen ground from the Indians? So how did they steal the land from the Indians? Now, I know about the disease blankets and the wars and all that stuff, but the wars were fought from both sides. White people died, Indians died. So how did they steal all this? Were there Indians in every single state? Or were there some parts of America that were uninhabited because it was fucking gigantic and there weren't that many people here? But no matter what, this is stolen land. So you just telling the white teachers that it's stolen, or all the teachers? I'm sure there's some black teachers, some Mexican teachers, some Asian teachers. Some teachers from every damn color of the rainbow. So are you telling them they're on stolen land or just the white teachers? Because when you single out people solely based on their race, that's called, never mind. So they're giving all these so-called statistics that, 23% of the students in the district that received D's and F's were Native American, and 22% were Hispanic, and 20% were black, but only 7% were white. So what you're saying is that these teachers, only the white ones, are targeting these colored students and lowering their grades. Now, speaking of grades, they are going to change the way that they give grades. That's what they're going to do. Well, they've already done that. I'll get into what they're going to do later. They've already changed the way that they give grades. No longer will they take into account your attendance, how you are in class, or do you turn your assignments in on time. They say that's part of their citizens grade, not their academic grade. So if 7% of white kids are getting D's and F's and 20 to 23% for the colored kids, well, let's see what the difference is. I think white kids have more intact families at home. So breakdown in the family, breakdown in your school performance. Makes sense. Unity at home as far as your parents. You have a cohesive parental unit, the nuclear family that equals prosperity and success in school. So if the colored kids are getting bad grades and bad attendance and shit, maybe it has something to do at home. Maybe it's not just a pack of racist white teachers running rampant in your school district. Maybe those kids need to fix their shit at home. And they're saying it's unfair to take into account the kids' average throughout the year, their average grade throughout the year, because they say, things are going to happen that happen to colored kids that may affect their grades throughout the year. Shit happens to every kid. Family stuff happens. People die. Parents split up. Something happens with their housing situation. I remember going to school with these kids. Their house burned down in the middle of the school year. I remember them coming to school with their clothes smelling like smoke. But those kids were still in school. Things happen to all kids, not just colored kids. And by lowering the fucking bar, you're doing a disservice to these poor little colored faces that you claim to be helping. And they said they're going to tackle their zero tolerance policy on cheating. So now it's going to be okay to cheat. Why do kids cheat? Possibly because, in most cases, they didn't do the fucking work, or they don't want to, so they want a shortcut. They're gonna cheat. If you studied and prepared, there's no reason to cheat because you are prepared. I'm not worried about going out in the snow if I got boots, hats, gloves, and all the things I need. I am worried if all I have is a tank top and some shorts. I'd be very worried about going out in the snow because I wouldn't be prepared. But if you're prepared, cheating is not an option. It's not about race. Stop taking personal responsibility from people. You are taking their power. You are causing them to be a perennial victim, so you always have a little colored person to help. It's okay, little colored person. It's a white kid's fault because they get 8+ hours of sleep every night and they have full bellies and homes that are warm and clean and parents that try. It's not your fault. It's not your parents' fault that they fucked up. They didn't get married before they have you. They're raising you in a fucking war zone. They got an education that doesn't go higher than the grade of 6. That's those white kids' fault, not yours. It's that white kid sitting across from you in their desk. It's their fault that your mama laid down and had 6 different babies by 6 different dudes. If they made it that far, if she didn't fucking abort them. That's that white kid's fault, not yours. Meanwhile, keep your head down, white kid. Get to work. You're white. You got everything handed to you on a silver platter. You little cis white fucker. Get to work. No, not you. Not you, little color kid. Come here. Shh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at that stupid white kid so loud. Get to work, you fucking white kid. Shh. It's all right, color kid. Native American. Black. Hispanic. Not Asian, though. No love for the Asians, huh? No love for the Asians. You didn't mention no Asian kids in there. You know why? Because them Asian kids don't be getting no fucking D's and F's. Because education is important. Because those families don't give a shit about what the Joneses are doing or what they have. They're focused on success. That's one group of kids you did not hear and them talking about they get D's and F's. They need the bar lowered. This shit is ridiculous. And what are you going to get? What teacher is going to come out of that training? How long is it? A day? Days? How much does it cost? So how many teachers are going to come out of this fucking training like, I get it. This whole time, I'm trying to get my Klan badge by keeping all these little dumb colored kids down, by keeping my oppressive boot on their little colored necks. And all I needed to do was come and take this white privilege training and fucking boom, it all clicks. Stop this bullshit. How about this? Doesn't matter what color you are, Try to maintain a good household for those kids. Send them to school rested and fed and loved. How about that? Then you'll see these numbers change. But when these children are hungry, they don't know where they're going to sleep. They don't have any rules and regulations. They're out all fucking night. They're at the liquor store 7 o'clock in the morning getting a Sprite and hot Cheetos. Out at 11 p.m. getting an Arizona iced tea with their mom and her boyfriend. I've seen it. How about instead of that, you create a good, stable home for these kids. Kids need and want structure. They're like puppies. What did Cesar Millan say? You can't let your dog be the pack leader. You have to be the pack leader. So be the fucking pack leader. Make sure your kids come from a stable home. They get a reasonable amount of sleep and some food in their stomach. Something to help them make a turd in their stomach. Then you'll see these numbers change. Not sending the teachers to some forced bullshit training that is going to do nothing except satiate your liberal, gotta help the coloreds boner. Now, let me say this about when I use the word liberal. I'm not talking about an actual liberal who may not agree with you, but they're going to fight for your right to say and do what you want. I'm not talking about the traditional liberal. We all have some of that kind of liberal in us. I think most of us believe in small government, get out of my fucking way, and as long as your peanut butter doesn't get my chocolate, we won't have any problems. Those aren't the liberals I'm talking about. I'm talking about the extreme leftists, the hijackers of liberalism, those that call themselves liberals now, the cancel culture. The I'm going to get more offended than you about something that someone said about you, i.e. the Washington Redskins. Most Indians don't give a shit, but look at them now. The Washington football team. That's like a dog. That's like a Rottweiler with no nuts. Get out of here. The Washington football team. God.